Today we are going to learn about standard form. Let's start off with a comic strip. Indeed, indices really save us a lot of effort from writing all the zeros. Now let's recall. 10 to the power of 6 can be written as 10 multiplied by 10 and so on 6 times. In ordinary form, it will be 1 with 6 zeros behind. An easy way of remembering how to write 10 to the power of 6 is as such. We will write it as 1.0 times 10 to the power of 6. And we will move the decimal point 6 steps to the right. And hence we'll get 1 with 6 zeros behind. Remember, we will always start counting from the decimal point. 10 to the power of negative 7 is actually 1 over 10 times 1 over 10 and so on 7 times. Or you can say that it is 0.1 times 0.1 and so on 7 times. Now what is an easy way to get from the index form to the ordinary form? First, we'll write it again as 1.0 times 10 to the power of negative 7. And this time we will move to the left 7 times because of the negative power. And the final answer will be this. Again, always remember to count from the decimal point. By definition, standard form is a number expressed as a multiplied by 10 to the power of n. To recall, an integer are numbers such as negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And a is a number more than or equals to 1 and less than 10. And a cannot be 0. Don't worry if this seems a bit daunting at this point. I'll give some examples to illustrate what are standard forms. Are the following in standard form? Yes, 3 is less than 10 and more than or equals to 1. And 5 here is an integer. Is this in standard form? You're right, it is not, because 10 to the power of 5 is greater than 10. Is this in standard form? Yes, this is in standard form. What about this? This is also in standard form, because 10 is to the power of 1 and 1 is an integer. Is this in standard form? No, because a now is less than 1. What about this? This is not in standard form because n is not an integer here. Is this in standard form? Even though a may have a lot of digits, it is still more than or equals to 1 and less than 10. And n here is still an integer. Is this in standard form? No, because a is greater than 10. And for the final question, is this in standard form? Yes, this satisfies the definition for standard form. I hope it is now clearer to you what is standard form. Let us have some real-life example on the use of standard form. Singapore's population in 2012 is 5.312 million people. Writes 5.312 million in standard form. In our very first lesson on indices, we learned that million is actually 10 to the power of 6. And hence, 5.312 million is 5.312 times 10 to the power of 6. And is this in standard form? The answer is yes, because a is less than 10 and greater or equals to 1. And n here is an integer. Next, the amount of hair on a human's head is approximately 0.108 million strands. Express 0.108 million strands in standard form. Since we know that million is 10 to the power of 6, 0.108 million is 0.108 times 10 to the power of 6. The next question is this in standard form? No. Hence, we need to learn how to convert this to standard form. An easy way of remembering is this. We need to shift the decimal place over to here so that a is greater than 1 and less than 10. In order to do so, we need to multiply by 10. Hence, we need to divide this by 10 to make the expression balanced. Finally, we will have 1.08 times 10 to the power of 5. Let's look at another example. The diameter of a virus is approximately 100.5 nanometers. Express 100.5 nanometers in standard form. Nano is the prefix for 10 to the power of, yes, it's 10 to the power of negative 9. And hence we can write it as 100.5 times 10 to the power of negative 9. So the next question is this in standard form? The answer is no, because A here is greater than 10. In order to convert this to standard form, we need to shift this decimal place to here such that A is now greater than 1 but less than 10. To do so, we need to divide by 100. In order to balance the expression here, we need to multiply this by 100 as well. Hence, we will have 1.005 times 10 to the power of negative 7 meters. Do remember, when we multiply 10 to the power of negative 9 by 100, the answer is 10 to the power of negative 7 and not 10 to the power of negative 11. To give you a final example, the amount of water in all of Earth's ocean is approximately 1435000 teracubic meters. Express 1435000 teracubic meters in standard form. Hence, we have 1435000 times 10 to the power of 12, because tera is the prefix for 10 to the power of 12. Is this in standard form? The answer is definitely no. Now, where is the decimal place? Yes, the decimal place is actually here. In order to change to standard form, we have to shift the decimal to here. To do so, we have to divide by 10 to the power of 6. To balance the expression, we have to multiply this by 10 to the power of 6. And hence, we will get 1.435 times 10 to the power of 6 cubic meters. We shall now do some computation. Evaluate the following expression. As a reminder, always convert the smaller power. In this case, the smaller power is 4. To convert this to power 5, we have to multiply this by 10 and divide this by 10. The result is this. We can now factorize out 10 to the power of 5 and simply add 0.293 to 5.6. The final result is 5.893 times 10 to the power of 5. You may ask, can I just press calculator and get the answer? Well, if you do so, you must make sure that the final answer is in standard form. If it is not in standard form, you have to convert it to standard form. Next example. Which is the smaller power? Yes, negative 9 is the smaller power, and we have to convert this to negative 7. In order to do so, we have to multiply by 100. And hence, we have to divide this term by 100 in order to balance the expression. As a result, we will have this. By factorizing out the 10 to the power of negative 7, we can rewrite in this form. And hence, the final answer will be 8.5851 times 10 to the power of negative 7. Now we have another example. Which is the smaller power? Yes, negative 12 is the smaller power. In order to change this to negative 11, we have to multiply by 10. And we have to divide this term by 10 as well. In turn, we will get this. Now that they have the same power, we can factorize out 10 to the power of negative 11. Finally, we will have negative 4.403 times 10 to the power of negative 11 as the answer. In summary, what have we learned in this lesson? We have learned the definition of standard form, which is a number expressed as a multiplied by 10 to the power of n. Do you remember what is a and what is n? A is a number that is greater or equals to 1 and less than 10. Can a be 0? Well, definitely not, because if a is equals to 0, then this whole expression will become 0 and it will not be in standard form. Do you remember what is n? Very good. N is an integer. And we have come to an end to our lesson. Thank you for watching.